Are you going to have this philosophy? It's not bad to be a good, I love the idea of being a good person. Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Pastor Mark Reacts here. Today we're talking about heaven, hell, the afterlife, the good place. All right, let's get to it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your first day in the afterlife. You were all, simply put, good people. But how do we know that you were good? How are we sure? During your time on earth, every one of your actions had a positive or a negative value, depending on how much good or bad that action put into the universe. Every sandwich you ate, every time you bought a magazine, every single thing you did had an effect that rippled out over time and ultimately created some amount of good or bad. You know how some people pull into the breakdown lane when there's traffic and they think to themselves, who cares? No one's watching. We were watching. Surprise. Anyway, when your time on earth has ended, we calculate the total value of your life using our perfectly accurate measuring system. Only the people with the very highest scores, the true cream of the crop, get to come here to the good place. What happens to everyone else, you ask? Don't worry about it. The point is, you are here because you lived one of the very best lives that could be lived. And you won't be alone. Your true soulmate is here too. That's right, soulmates are real. One of the other people in your neighborhood is your actual soulmate, and you will spend eternity together. So welcome to eternal happiness. Welcome to the good place. Sponsored by otters holding hands while they sleep. You know the way you feel when you see a picture of two otters holding hands? That's how you're going to feel every day.
Kind of the underlying, I think, worldview to a lot of people in the Western world, part of a more of a secular and agnostic view, even atheistic view in a sense, though of course they don't believe a place like this exists. There's still a sense of, at the core of every impulse, all humankind is kind of religiously impulsed, is this sense of doing good and doing good or doing bad. And most religion actually functions on this premise that you're going to be judged in the end by the good things you did versus the bad things you did, and then that's going to define, like here, heaven or hell. And of course, the gospel comes into this and says that that's not true in the end. Even the good things we did are in a sense narcissistic, very rarely altruistic, or just for the good of people without any good for ourselves. And in that sense, you could never actually do enough good that God would look at you and say, okay, your record is so good, I'm going to bring you, which is what great stories like the prodigal son story is about, where Jesus tells this story where this bad kid goes off and he gets into the party in the end. The father, but the only way he gets in, the only way the father embraces him is by putting his own robe on him and his own ring and his own, there's a celebration that this kid recognizes he's not good, he's a sinner, he's lost, and because he's lost, he says, I have nothing to offer. I'm going to go back, I'm going to grovel in front of my father. And then the father says, don't even start the groveling, here you go. And then you have the older brother who thinks it's based on his record, I've never done anything bad. And he never comes into the party because he can't bring himself to be humbled enough to ever go, I'll never be good enough. You know, there'll never be a green number beside my name. And so the gospel comes in and says, it's not based on you being good, it's what Jesus has done for you. It's that he was good for you because you could never be good enough. Here's the thing about that. I think everyone, even we try to justify our lives, right? We try to get salvation by being good, whether that's being more beautiful or more successful or having more money or having more sexual experiences or having a great family. All of these things are trying to kind of justify us in the soteriology of our life, the salvation of our life. We're trying to have the good life. We're trying to get salvation in the sense of feeling, and we take these different routes, and the gospel comes in and says, Jesus Christ came and he did all these things for you, lived a perfect, like you ever wonder why he didn't just live a couple years and then died as a sacrifice for us? He lived this life of righteousness for 30 years that then gets applied to us, an important part of salvation. And then the beautiful part about all that is it saves us then from the weight and the burden. which this philosophy does to a human psyche. You know, there's been philosophers, Ernest Becker wrote a book in the 70s where he talked about, you know, the plight of the modern man is that he doesn't have, the word sin doesn't exist in a psychology book, and he doesn't know what to do with the weight and the burden inside of him. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know why he feels empty. He certainly doesn't want to trust himself for salvation because he knows how much of a wreck he is in the dark when nobody's looking, no matter what kind of facade he puts on. The psychology and the burden of religion, of this kind of philosophy, is what Jesus was trying to cut through when he says, I am gentle and lowly in heart, you know, Matthew 11. I'm gentle and lowly in heart. Take my burden, put my yoke upon you, because my burden is light. In the sense of, I'm not going to crush you with religion. I'm not going to crush you with the concept that your good deeds better outweigh your bad deeds before you die in the end. Don't worry about that. In the end, as Darrell Johnson, a great writer that I read, said, in the end, we're going to have a choice when we stand before God. God, either judge me on my record or judge me on the record of Jesus. And he said, in the end of the day, I only find hope in the second option. Judge me on the record of Jesus for me, because I know how, even if my good deeds looked externally good, they weren't actually in the end good internally. And so don't judge me on that. Judge me on the record of Jesus. And at the end of the day, every single person, that's the question of your life. Are you going to have this philosophy? It's not bad to be a good, I love the idea of being a good person, but it's the difference, as Tim Keller pointed out, between the means of salvation and the trajectory of salvation. The means of salvation, the personal work of Jesus. But then where does trajectory of it go in your life? Does it lead you to actually becoming the type of person who, in Matthew 25, most of the judgment passages in the Bible actually talk about, not just about what you believed, but what you did with your life. John 5, Romans 2, Matthew 25. The question wasn't whether these things saved you, though. Visiting those in prison, clothing the naked, giving drink to the thirsty. John 5, we're going to open up the books. We're going to look at what you did with your life. Those who are going to go to the resurrection of life are those who did good, and those to the resurrection of death, those who did bad. But all of that wasn't the way you were saved. It's where your life has to go. The trajectory of whether you're actually saved needs to be, you need to become this person who loves and, you know, works for the good of people. And so any kind of evaluation like this, it won't be like the only thing. There's going to be this question of what did you do with the person and work of Jesus? And then there's going to be this question of what trajectory, where did that shape, what kind of way did that shape your life and what you did with it? And so I think this is the exact thing that Christianity critiques. Is this, you better be better than you were going, or that's religion, or hey, you're going to come back in another life, kind of reincarnation. You have the Eastern philosophy, which is kind of reincarnation. And then you have Western ideology, which is all about, like one writer has said, reinvention. You know, if I just get my, you know, my boobs done and my face done and my life done, and I can, move to Hollywood and get a good Instagram account, people follow me, then I can reinvent myself. These are all salvation things. They're all things that our soul are doing to try to be saved. And Jesus comes in and he goes, no. It's about regeneration. It's about the new life that I give you through my person and my work. You accept that or you don't. Guys, hope you like this video. Please comment. Let us know your questions. Like, share these videos if you're loving them. Hopefully you are. If you hate them, then comment too, because we want to hear from you. Love you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Really important one, all about salvation. Have a good day, guys.